Next Gen Tech Talks podcast, where we share insights and tips from the best in business.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Next Gen Tech Talks podcast, where we share insights and tips from the best in business. I'm your host, Golapnath, and today we have a very special guest with me. He is Marcus Smith, Principal Program Manager on Dynamics 365 Customer Service Team at Microsoft, who oversees some of the most innovative and impactful projects in the tech industry. Marcus, thank you for joining us. Without further ado, let's deep dive into our conversation with Marcus. So, Marcus, welcome to the show. I understand you spent some time with us from your busy schedule, and thank you so much. And we really appreciate for your effort joining in the session. We'll start with some basic personal understanding. So, how is your day actually in a life? Normally, if I say currently, starting from the day till the evening, how exactly your days goes?
How my day goes. It's one of the things I love about the role I have on the Dynamics customer service product team is my days are pretty varied. Some days I'll spend time with MVPs like yourself. Some other days I'll spend some time with customers or with partners. Sometimes I'll spend some time with industry analysts, as well as spending time with my colleagues internally, other program managers and other product managers, to basically help them understand what I'm hearing from folks like yourself, from partners, from customers, and how we can help make the product better. So it's a pretty diverse and varied day. On any given day is not like the day before, and it won't be like the next day, which is fun. I mean, it allows me to have a lot of good interactions with both internal and external folks.
Yeah, that's really great. And what about your family time? So you are getting some time, right, to spend with family also?
There is some time to spend with family from time to time. So I live in a city, Kansas City, Missouri, which is in the very middle part of the United States. And actually, we moved here a couple of months ago to be closer to some family that lives down here. So we can spend a lot more time with family and be a lot closer than we were before. And as a matter of fact, this weekend I'm flying back to Seattle where we have some friends, and we're going to spend some time with friends back in Seattle. So I used to live out in the Seattle and Redmond area when I worked for Microsoft the first time around. We moved to the Midwest, and now I get to go back to Seattle from time to time and see all of our friends back there.
Okay, that's really interesting. We'll understand your professional work and how the things are moving on and around the places. So we hear a lot of copilot, day and night we are listening a lot of copilots. Copilot in there, copilot is there. Even we meet day and night the customers asking what is copilot, how copilot security works, how this can be done, how we can implement. So I would like to know more about how Dynamics 365 customer service with copilot we are envisioning in future horizon.
Okay, it's a great question. And Copilot, there's a reason why you hear a lot about it because it is so strategic and so important, not only for Microsoft as a company, but we think it's going to be very strategic and very important for our partners and for our customers as well. This generative AI wave that's happening is something that is basically unstoppable. It's going to revolutionize our industry and revolutionize the way people use software and the way people use applications like Dynamics. Specifically, Dynamics 365 customer service, we see it first and foremost being there to help agents do their job. Basically, make an agent more productive, more efficient, more effective in what they do. And it starts with things that are fairly simple, just things like summarizing a long running conversation or summarizing a case, right? Rather than read through a long conversation transcript or read through a lot of case history, Copilot can do that work on behalf of the agent and actually summarize what the conversation is all about or what the case is all about. And then it goes a step beyond that, where basically that's going to help the agent do some things with that new information. So they can help design responses that are contextually relevant for the agent to give back to the customer. It can help draft emails that you can even send back to the customer that correspond to what the customer's concerns are that they expressed in the inbound email. So it's really a lot of things designed for agents. Now you're going to see next, and we just started some of this work with the 2024 Wave 1 release that just happened, that there'll be more that Copilot starts to do. So now the next big piece of Copilot innovation that's happening in Dynamics 365 customer service is around knowledge management, and how an agent, if they resolve a problem and they resolved it on their own, maybe without the right kind of knowledge assets or the right kind of resources, they couldn't find it. Copilot couldn't find it, they couldn't find it. So they ended up using their own creative capabilities to solve the problem. They can propose new knowledge that can go to the knowledge managers that then can get built back into knowledge management. And they can use Copilot to do all that as well, to basically draft the knowledge. So it's really revolutionizing customer service. I think it's, of any of the different roles in an organization, customer service is probably the place where Copilot can be the most impactful.
Yeah, that's true actually. So everywhere Copilot is really helping, and that is the reason actually businesses, everyone looking towards the Copilot capability. And it's really, I think, after next 10 years, I think there will be drastic change of how the people use the systems, how they will start evolving the systems without too much of human intervention. That's what it looks like actually, I will say in this way. But anyways, one thing I can say, I can see there are a lot of transformations happened across the Microsoft Dynamics customer service as well. Because just to give you insights, actually I started my career also into Dynamics 365. To be very honest, I will say not 365, it is Dynamics CRM days. So I started Dynamics CRM 4.0. Then if I look to 4.0, and now I'm looking towards the transformation to 2011, 2013, 2015, 2016, 365, that different versions. Now it is like a digital contact center, which is coming into the picture, and it is really evolved a lot actually. That's what I can foresee, and yeah, I can feel that change is coming through the evolution and through the Microsoft ecosystem, even customers' behavior also. So
Yeah.
now we understand digital contact center also there, and it's also coming up into this. There is a word actually, contact center as a service, CCaaS. So what is your thought on that actually?
Yeah, CCaaS it's been around for a while, basically, as customers are trying to move their contact center capabilities off of on-prem systems and into cloud systems, right? The same experience you were just talking about, moving from Dynamics when it used to be an on-prem client server application to moving towards Dynamics 365 as a software as a service model. So you experienced that shift, and that same shift is happening with contact centers. I was just talking to some analysts the other day about the fact that their estimation is still that 70% of contact center agent seats are still on-prem worldwide. Now, in developed countries, that's less. Undeveloped countries, a little bit more, but averages out for the entire world is about 70%. So there's a huge market of on-prem contact centers that need to move to become cloud-based contact centers, or contact center as a service, CCaaS, as you said. And the other interesting thing about that market is it's really intimately tied back into underlying CRM systems, right? I mean, most of the contact center solutions rely upon an integration of some sort with an underlying CRM system, right? So it understands who the customer is and what the customer's conversation history and transaction histories were, and who the contacts are, and all of that. So that's where I think Dynamics is really, really interesting from a value proposition perspective, is that we've got the CRM piece and we've got the connection, the contact center piece available from one supplier. So we were able to provide that as an all-in-one solution for customers. I realize some people don't want to necessarily mix and match different solutions, and we can do that too. We can offer composable solutions where you can mix and match the different pieces of our contact center solution set. But really, that's the evolution that we're seeing happen, is people are pushing to the cloud very, very quickly now. And the big reason for that is what we just talked about, generative AI and Copilot. You got to get to the cloud, be able to take advantage of all these generative AI features. And then also making sure that as they're moving, they want this more integrated, cohesive, complete solution. And that's where the combination of Dynamics as a customer service CRM application plus the omni-channel capabilities we have really come into the forefront.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's really great actually. But I want to bring one point as you highlighted this. Few customers ask actually, can we get digital contact center, but we don't want customer service capability, rather I want the sales with digital contact center capability. So this thing also there are, some customers ask, because those are specifically sales-based industries, those do on the day in, day out with the lead feature capability, but they still need contact center capabilities. They have inbound, they have outbound, all these different flows they have. So I think that is one feedback I received as part of the licensing requirement point of view. This is what is there, this is what is there, how we can gel it together. Any thoughts from your end on this?
Yeah, that's a great point. And we've heard the same feedback from customers that it's not always just about customer service. It could be sales or marketing oriented activities as well, where contact center agents come into play. So it's something we've definitely heard and we're working on. I don't have any definitive timetables on when we'll have more of a deeper level of integration between our contact center capabilities and other parts of Dynamics for those other scenarios. But we've definitely heard it, specifically the outbound scenarios, right? We tend to be pretty focused on inbound scenarios where people are, starting a web chat or sending in an email or placing an inbound phone call. We have some outbound capabilities as well, but not as much as we probably need to have in order to address the scenarios you talked about. So that's a growth area for us to grow into that space.
Okay, great. I think that's fair enough, and we were looking towards that. I think that will be even empower more to Dynamics 365 capability standpoint. Okay, so you want to convey anything on the roadmap? Arjun? What do you?
The release planner that's on Microsoft.com, and maybe we can include a link or something as we put the podcast out. But that will show you everything that we just recently released as part of the 2024 Wave 1 release, as well as some things that are right around the corner. One of the things you're going to find is if you've been around Dynamics for a while and Power Platform, we used to release two major release points every year, right? We had a release point in April and a release point in October. Now we're seeing a lot more intervening releases. So we're doing a lot more things in between the two, basically anchor release points, specifically around Copilot. So you're going to see some cool new things coming around with Copilot. Just released things like auto prompting, things like the knowledge management features that I mentioned, things like plugins and filters. Plugins, I think, are really cool in order to take a Copilot experience and basically connect it into a line of business application so that Copilot isn't just giving you answers based on knowledge, but it's also starting to be able to take actions and go get information from other systems and bring it back, or even do things like place orders on your behalf and those kind of activities. So that's what we're excited about on the Copilot front. The other thing we're excited about on the near-term roadmap is everything with omnichannel. So we've done a lot of improvements and upgrades to our voice channel. If you remember, a couple of years ago, we closed on an acquisition from a company called Nuance. Nuance has decades of experience doing really high volume enterprise level voice deployments. So we took a lot of their technology and fused it in with a lot of our own technology at Microsoft, and that's now bearing fruit with this release of 2024 Wave 1, where you're seeing the omnichannel voice capability improve quite a bit. Both on the direct voice channel and how the agents, work with it, but also the IVR side, like how the incoming self-service voice channel on IVR works as well. And so that's something I think everyone should check out as they see the improvements that have happened on the voice channel. In the relatively near term, we'll also be adding WhatsApp support as a direct Azure Communication Services channel later on this summer. I think I want to say May or June. Somewhere we're in May now, so it's either now or it's the next month or the next month. It's very close. Sometime in the summer here in the northern hemisphere. So that's an exciting thing as well. We've heard a lot of customers in markets where WhatsApp is really popular. They didn't necessarily want to have to go through third-party channels to make that happen. They wanted that directly from Microsoft, so we're able to make that happen as well. So those are some of the highlights off the top of my head. We'll also be publishing the Wave 2 release plans probably around mid-July or so. So if you go back to that release planner, which we'll include a link to, hopefully people can look at the Wave 2 plans.
Yeah. So viewers, if you hear what he mentioned, actually, I was trying that knowledge article part and the Copilot part. It's really great. And I would recommend everyone to go and try out the new features, and even you guys can give the feedback, which will be helpful to Marcus or whoever the product team they are working on that. I think that would be really great feedback for them to go ahead. If anything you see preview specifically, I want to put the point. If any preview items, if you guys facing across to try out, see, give the feedback, that would be really great. Okay.
We definitely value the feedback, that's for sure.
Yeah. That's great actually to know. And now I understand build is knocking the door.
Yeah,
So that's
I can't share the news that's coming out at Build because we want to have the news come out at Build. But I will let you know that it's really. I mean, if you're a developer, if you are more of a technically minded individual, Build would be a conference you don't want to miss. There's not going to be as much there around Dynamics, but there'll be a lot around Power Platform and specifically around Copilot Studio. As you've probably seen through the Ignite event, and even as we've gone through the last few months, Copilot Studio has become such an integral part of our Copilot strategy for people that can build their own Copilots. They can extend and enhance the Microsoft Copilot experience. There's a lot of cool things happening with Copilot Studio. So that's, if you're in the customer service world, which I'm in and you're in, Copilot Studio is such a key part of authoring those self-service experiences, those
yeah.
chatbots or those IVRs. So you'll see some interesting things at Build. I can't reveal the details, but I would mark your calendar for, I think it's May 21st through the 23rd.
Yep, yep. Okay, I think that's fair enough. And it's looking towards the build event anyways. And guys, do register for the build event, and you will know a lot of things what's coming up on the roadmap and other information. Even directly from Shatya, he will announce some of the things. I think that is really great event. I think looking towards that. Okay, now we'll come towards the case management capability. Dynamics has case management. So what you feel it required up to some extent, or maybe we are working on to improve, which you feel it's fine to share regarding case management process? What is there on the roadmap or vision you feel it should be there or something on the roadmap?
Yeah, it's a good question. Case management is pretty solid in terms of its core capabilities and what it can do. A lot of what we'll be working on over the next few months is really improving the agent experience inside case management. So improving the look and feel and user experience. Dark mode will come out. We've had a lot of customer service agents saying, I want dark mode. I don't like having all this, white space. I'd rather have it more in a dark system. So that's coming out. There'll be some other work related to Copilot being able to look at some of the things that are happening in a conversation and maybe help inform what's happening in the case a little bit more effectively. I can't reveal too much information there, but there could be more things that are being automated, right, in terms of the way that the case management works and less manual work that the agent has to do. There's some really interesting things we can do when you bring that world of Copilot and that world of generative AI together with case management.
Yeah. Okay. I think nowadays I will say really there is huge agent empowerment has been done so far in Dynamics, and we all know Dynamics is one of the leading product in case management in a customer service segment. So that's why actually it's really great, and it's still evolving, looking into the market trend, looking into the customer's mind, because customer mind keep on changing due to evolution of this AI, and especially this generative AI. There is a shift actually everyone can feel, and this is where actually I believe Microsoft also trying to address it. I think that revolution still on the way, and what I'm hearing also Microsoft still something new coming up in that space, specifically AI part.
There's a lot of, I mean, the AI revolution will continue, right, in terms of what it
Yeah.
can do. And you've heard some of our senior leaders mention this, so I'm not revealing anything that I can't reveal here, but the generative AI experience and the Copilot experience can't just be about chat, right? It's not just chat GPT. It's not just I'm having a conversation with data. It needs to start to become something that's more action oriented and starts to help people do their jobs. So you see this with the plugins, for instance, right? Where I'm having a conversation that I can ask Copilot to go do something for me as opposed to just getting information back for me. That's an evolution of that. You see some of this with in Copilot Studio with what's called generative actions and dynamic chaining, where it can start to say, well, based on this conversation, I should probably go invoke this topic or this plugin to go get information out of this system. So that's, I think, the evolution where you're going to see this start to go is it's going to be something that is not just all about chat and text, but it's going to be something that's much more of a richer, more interactive experience. Another example, and this is something we disclosed last at Ignite back in November, and you'll see probably more about it as we go forward, is something called Project Sophia. So if you go out and do an internet search on Project Sophia, you'll see this. It's all about using generative AI to basically do analysis canvases, right? So you're using generative AI to come up with new insights to data that maybe you didn't have before, and that's also really a cool use of generative AI.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really interesting. And looking towards more into that. So Nuance is really a great fit for the healthcare. That means healthcare is one of the regulated industry, right? So
Correct.
so so in if Nuance is coming into the picture, I feel it will be a great improvement in into the customer service capabilities, and we're looking towards to enjoy actually what's coming up on the next. Okay, we'll come to omni-channel capability because some cases, there are regional omni-channel capabilities are there, and they go with the custom way. There are different types of social media connectors are there, social connectors, like WhatsApp is a standard one. So anything we are planning to bring them into the mainstream, or still they can connect to through the custom way.
We'll always be looking at other channels we can add. There's always the ability to bring your own channel if you need to. And as I was mentioning before, that WhatsApp one, we've heard very clearly that people said, well, it's great that you support WhatsApp through Twilio, but it'd be even better if you could support WhatsApp directly through Azure Communication Services. That is on the near-term roadmap to get that addressed and have first-party WhatsApp support. The other one that I think people sometimes overlook is the support that we have for Apple Messages for Business and Google Business Messages and all
Yeah.
those things, right? That richer experience inside an iPhone or inside an Android device. That is also one that I think sometimes people overlook. That we've had that support for a while. We're going to continue to invest in that area because we think that makes for a richer, better experience when it comes to interacting over what used to be just text. Right now, instead of just plain old SMS, you're able to have that richer experience on an iPhone or an Android device. The other interesting thing on the omni-channel front is what we collectively call "Join Me on Teams," but it's the ability to, if you're having a web chat with someone, you can say, okay, let's just have a quick Teams meeting, basically like something like we're doing now, and the customer doesn't have to have Teams installed; they can just interact and go through their browser, but the agent can all inside the agent desktop start a Teams meeting and do things like co-browsing and screen sharing with the customer and vice versa. So if it's a technical support issue and you need to see what's going on somebody's screen, being able to use that sort of interactive, visual screen sharing methodology powered by Teams is also really interesting in terms of the use case.
Okay, I think that will be really great actually. Look towards that. And I want to put the last question before we close today's discussion. As part of licensing, we heard the news actually licensing cost is increasing across dynamic stack of technologies. So what is your thoughts on this? It is just increase, or it is increased with some improvement, and that's is worth to increase? What is your views on this?
Yeah, I think we had increased prices for 5 years or something like that. So this is the first price increase in 5 years, and you can look back at the innovation that happened over that 5 year time period
I agree.
with the things we've just been talking about, right? Like omni-channel investments and Copilot and generative AI investments, and just the move to the cloud and the availability in more and more places all around the world. So that there was a lot more value packed into the product over the course of the last 5 years. And I think that the price increase is fairly modest in terms of, I think I can't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head, but it's not a gigantic price increase. So
Okay.
hopefully people understand that there's a value to pricing equation here, right? I think there's been more value added to the product that warrants a modest price increase. But I understand it seems like inflation is happening everywhere. I'm not sure about Singapore, but in the U.S., right, all prices are going up across the board. What you pay for fuel, what you pay for groceries, what you pay for whatever, right? It's all things are going up. So hopefully we can all agree that it's a pretty modest price increase that's warranted.
Yeah. So basically, okay, the summary of the discussion is all about viewers. If you can hear what Marcus mentioned, whatever the price increase is there, it's worth, because there are some improvements across the ecosystem, across the platform, across the environment, the high availability and different segments. There is improvement. And last 5 years, it never increased. And in that note, I think it's viable to increase the price, whatever it is increased.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
that's fair enough. And in that note, actually, we will finish the session, and I would like to thanks again to Marcus to join us in this session and provide a lot of insights. Actually, that was really helpful, and hope people will understand what Microsoft Dynamics is coming up, how Microsoft Dynamics coming up with the digital contact center and how it is evolving. And definitely it is on the track to satisfy your expectations, and looking towards the price increment or whatever the features are there. We will look towards that, and we'll try to engage with Microsoft on the feedback also. If you see the preview or anything, you can give the feedback. That will be really helpful to improve the product. In that note, I would like to close this session and thank you everyone for listening to us, and hope this conversation is helpful to you. And thanks, Marcus, for joining us.
Thank you, Kalpana. Look forward to joining you again sometime.
Thank you for listening. Looking forward to see you on a new topic. Till then, bye-bye.